Welcome to History with Herodotus, where we embark on fascinating journeys through the annals of time, uncovering the secrets and stories that have shaped our world. Today, we find ourselves at the threshold of a monumental event that would forever alter the fabric of global commerce, politics, and culture: the opening of the Suez Canal. This marvel of engineering, which connected the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, was a feat of human ingenuity that would change the course of history, saving time, fuel, and lives by providing a shortcut between Europe and Asia. As we delve into this captivating tale, let us begin our narrative in the mid-19th century, when the idea of constructing a canal through the Isthmus of Suez began to take shape. The concept was not new. As early as the 8th century BC, the pharaohs of Egypt had attempted to build a waterway that would link the Nile River to the Red Sea. However, these ancient endeavors were ultimately abandoned due to the enormity of the task and the limitations of the technology at the time. Fast forward to the 1840s, when the French diplomat and engineer Ferdinand de Lesseps became enamored with the idea of building a canal that would traverse the Suez Isthmus. De Lesseps was a man of vision and perseverance who had spent years studying the region's geography and politics. He recognized the immense potential of such a waterway, not only for France, but also for the entire world. The prospect of reducing travel time between Europe and Asia by thousands of miles was a tantalizing one, as it would facilitate trade, enhance cultural exchange, and cement European dominance in global affairs. In 1847, de Lesseps traveled to Egypt, where he met with the Egyptian viceroy, Muhammad Ali Pasha. The viceroy, who had been seeking to modernize his country's infrastructure, was receptive to de Lesseps's proposal. However, it would take several years of negotiations, feasibility studies, and lobbying before the project could gain momentum. De Lesseps faced numerous challenges, including skepticism from European investors, concerns about the canal's potential impact on global trade, and the daunting task of navigating the complex web of international politics. As the 1850s unfolded, de Lesseps' determination and charisma began to bear fruit. He founded the Suez Canal Company in 1858 with the backing of French and Egyptian investors. The company's initial capital was modest, but de Lesseps's unwavering commitment to the project eventually attracted more substantial funding from European banks and governments. In 1859, the first excavations began at the northern terminus of the proposed canal, near the city of Port Said. The digging would prove to be a Herculean task, with thousands of workers laboring in challenging conditions to remove millions of cubic meters of sand and rock. As the years passed, the project would face numerous setbacks, including engineering challenges, financial crises, and even the intervention of the British government, which was wary of French dominance in the region. As the excavations progressed, the challenges faced by de Lesseps and his team became increasingly daunting. The scorching desert sun, coupled with the lack of modern machinery, made every step of the process a grueling ordeal. Despite these obstacles, the workers persevered, driven by the promise of a steady income and the prospect of being part of something historic. By 1863, the canal's trajectory had been marked out and the digging had reached a depth of over 20 feet in some areas. However, it was not until 1869 that the Suez Canal Company finally broke through to the Great Bitter Lake, a pivotal moment that marked the beginning of the end of the excavation phase. The years that followed were a flurry of activity, as de Lesseps and his team worked tirelessly to complete the canal. On November 17, 1869, the Suez Canal was officially open to navigation, with the French ship La Pelouse being the first to make the journey from the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. The event was met with great fanfare, as dignitaries and spectators from around the world gathered to witness the inauguration of this marvel of engineering. As the ships began to traverse the canal, it became clear that de Lesseps' vision had been realized. The travel time between Europe and Asia had been reduced by thousands of miles, and the world was forever changed. The early years of the Suez Canal's operation were not without their challenges, however. The waterway was prone to silting, and the lack of modern lock systems made navigation difficult. Nevertheless, the canal quickly became a vital artery of global commerce, with ships from all over the world passing through its waters. By 1870, just a year after its opening, The Suez Canal had already seen over 500 vessels make the journey, with trade between Europe and Asia increasing exponentially as a result. As one observer noted at the time, the Suez Canal has opened up a new highway to the east, and the consequences of this will be felt for generations to come. As the canal's importance continued to grow, so too did its significance in the world of international politics. The British government, which had initially been skeptical of the project, soon came to realize the strategic value of the Suez Canal and began to take a keen interest in its operation. In 1875, the British government purchased a controlling stake in the Suez Canal Company, marking the beginning of a new era in the canal's history. This move was met with concern from other European powers, who feared that British dominance over the canal would give them an unfair advantage in global trade. As the British government's control over the Suez Canal Company solidified, the waterway continued to play a vital role in global commerce, with trade between Europe and Asia increasing exponentially. The canal's significance was further underscored during World War I, when it served as a crucial supply route for Allied forces. The British government's dominance over the canal also sparked tensions with other European powers, particularly Germany, which sought to challenge British control over this strategic waterway. In the years following World War I, the Suez Canal continued to operate under British control, with the company's concession renewed in 1920. However, as nationalist sentiment grew in Egypt, demands for greater Egyptian control over the canal began to escalate. In 1951, the Egyptian government, led by Prime Minister Mustafa el-Nahas, unilaterally abrogated the Anglo-Egyptian Treaty of 1936, which had granted Britain control over the canal until 1968. This move sparked a crisis, as British and French forces attempted to regain control over the canal in 1956. The ensuing Suez Crisis marked a significant turning point in the history of the canal, as international pressure forced the withdrawal of British and French troops, and the United Nations established a peacekeeping force to oversee the canal's operation. In 1964, the Suez Canal Authority was established, with Egypt assuming full control over the waterway. The canal has since undergone significant expansions and modernizations, including the construction of new locks and the deepening of the canal to accommodate larger vessels. Today, the Suez Canal is one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, with over 17,000 vessels passing through its waters every year. As historian Ferdinand de Lesseps once observed, the Suez Canal is not just a waterway, but a bridge between two worlds. The canal's construction and operation have been marked by periods of cooperation and conflict, as nations have vied for control over this strategic waterway. The canal's history serves as a powerful reminder of the complex interplay between technological innovation, economic interests, and geopolitical rivalries that have shaped our world. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.